Alright, for this video I'll be doing a modeling demo. Okay, so this one is a completed model of this pencil sharpener. I will not be doing this pencil sharpener, but roughly, right, this pencil sharpener took me about slightly under 3 hours to model and complete. Now, for the next subject, right, I'll be modeling this Logitech ErgoMouse. And the first thing you start in all 3D modeling is to do research and compile and collect all the images. So these are very good images that I've collected from a website. And the first thing I want to do is to use this free image reference software called the BREF. Okay, you can Google for BREF and you can download this software for free. And I already compiled the ErgoMouse into this image reference. So I'm going to save this in the folder here. I actually already saved in the source images folder so that I can come back and then open and study this mouse a little bit. Now, this mouse is unique in that you can actually tilt this mouse. You can tilt it at an angle like that. And in order to bring it in for an accurate modeling exercise, we have to bring the mouse right into an image editor for these images and then align them. So the good thing is that we have a top view, we have a side view, and then we have a front view. And several other pictures showing the mouse in different angles. So we will use the image editor and then we actually compile them together. And I will not go through that process. I already done a image. So I already lined it up. Okay, so with the side view, okay, the front view all lined up like this. Okay. So once it's done, we can resize the image, right, so that it becomes a square image, right, and then we can bring it into Maya to do the lineup. Alright, so if set your project, and then I believe I already set up the image reference here already. Okay, and I actually did a base model for the mouse over here. Okay, so this shape actually started out as a cube, which I gradually added all the subdivisions to get to this shape here. So in order to demonstrate this, I will delete away this. Okay, I will not show how to do the lineup, okay, because I have other videos already demonstrating how to do this. So you can watch those videos to do the lineup. Alright, so we'll start off with a cube. Alright, and then we will just resize the cube, right, to just match the dimensions of the mouse. Okay, so we will start off by going over to the channel box and then change the size. Okay, one of my keyboard displays is not displaying properly. Let me just restart that. Key press display rather. Alright, over here. Alright. So resize this, and then we might also want to change the shading to an X-ray temporarily, and then resize this in component mode. So we go to the vertex mode, use the move tool, and then just move this into place. Alright, let me just change this view to X-ray view as well. So for the bottom here, just move this up. Grab these vertices, move them up. Okay, to give me more real estate, right, you can change your workspaces to modeling standard. So we don't have the timeline at the bottom. Tap the space bar to go to the quad view again. And then we can move the vertices to match. Now, when I look at the side view, I notice that this actually shows the almost the tilted angle of the mouse. So the reference of the mouse, right, for this front view right now, in hindsight that I'm looking at it, right, should be tilted forward to match this angle. So, okay, what do I mean by that? That means, right, what we're looking at is more like this angle over here. So for the side view, so this one, right, we have to use a little bit of a little bit of adjustment, right, when we are modeling this section over here. Okay, but generally, okay, I think we could get around with this area here. Alright, so now we have our dimensions more or less matching the size of the mouse. Right, from the front view, the side view, and then the height and so on. I think this one can go down a little bit. Yeah. actually this one will stick it to this. The height will stick it right about here. Okay, so next thing we want to do is that we want to add in subdivisions, right, where you see transition in the shape. Okay, what do I mean by transition? If you look at the top view here, we see that there's a change over here, there's a change over here. So we're going to insert one edge loop here, one edge loop here, and then we also see a change over in the center here. So we're going to just middle mouse click to use the cutting tool to add a cut. We're going back to select. We will select the vertices and then just move the vertices to match the cross section of the shape. Alright, so I think we also need one more edge loop that runs across here, so I'll just add one middle mouse click and go to the vertex and move this into place. Alright, so far our top view looks good, but our front view is not matching, so we're going to insert one more edge loop okay, right about here, because we can see a lot of change in the transition shape over here. Okay, let me just go to the task by 7, let me see where I can hide this. Really high. Okay, just give you more modeling real estate. So I'm going to grab this and then just move this one down here. Then grab these and then you want to actually rotate them first before moving it down like that. And now in the front view here, we can grab these vertices at the front and just pull it down here, and then these vertices at the back and just pull it down here. Okay, so this one you have to really use your own judgment to get the shape blocked out. So at this stage, right, we can consider this as the blocking stage. Okay, just to roughly get the shape out quickly. Okay, so the tip here, this one should be up as well. Okay, I'm going to go in closer and grab these group and then pull it down here, and then notice there's a tilt up over here, so the edges over here I'm going to pull up over here and then rotate them so that they follow the same line. And you'll notice that if you look at the front view for this particular mouse, in fact, let me just pull up the ref. Okay, if you look at the front view over here, alright, so you can see that there is a significant tilt over here. So you keep all this reference right open, so you can study them closely. So coming back over here, so this tilt, right, we will have to use our own judgment to see over here. Now, the X-ray makes it a little bit hard to see this angle over here. So the tilt, right, will happen right about here, and followed by this second one, continue to tilt inwards, and then finally this last vertex here, we will continue all the way here. And then this one, you can put this one right over here. And I think we want to keep the center line centered, so I'm going to use the scale to flatten this, then move it right across where the mouse buttons and then the roller buttons are. So we can see from this cube, right, we got the base shape out from the ergonomic mouse. Okay. So then we can continue to sculpt this until we get a shape, right? And then this particular vertex, right, we can bring it down further based on what we see over here from the side view. Just like that. Okay. So now we need to strengthen the edges so that we can maintain the shape. So what do I mean by strengthen the edges? Because if we press number 3 right now, we get this shape over here. but we want to strengthen the external edges so that it maintains this hard edge shape over here. Alright, and we can refine it later by adding more subdivisions or edge loops, right, for the mouse. So I'm going to select the outer edges. So what I mean by outer edges, so basically the edges, right, that define the overall shape, and then we're going to apply a bevel to it. So just double click and select this, double click, select, shift, double click, select this one and this one, and we will just inspect and check that the corners, alright, are selected. Okay, maybe this one here as well, and this one. Okay, so because we want to keep the shape here, so that's why I included selection of this edge here. Maybe this edge, I won't select this one. Yeah, so we can press 4 to wireframe to check that the outer edges are selected. Okay, and then once they're selected, we can apply a single bevel, and we will give it 2 segments, and this will ensure that we have 4-sided faces all over the corners here. So this will give us when we press number 3 to subdivide this, you can see that we are maintaining the shape very well. In fact, actually it looks pretty good. It's very, very close to the ergonomic mouse shape that we want. So the next thing that we need to do is to just move the vertices in subdivided mode to match the shape. So you can see here, right, with just these few steps, I'm already getting very, very close to the completed model over here. Alright, so in subdivided mode, what we can do is that we can now grab the vertices here and then gradually move them until they match the shape. And instead of using X-ray, I'm going to assign it with a landed material and then give it a color. Just right mouse click, go to material attributes one more time, then go over to a sort of cyan color. Okay, you can choose whatever color you want, but I just happen to prefer this. Just give it a lighter color like that. So this makes it easier for me to see through and then ensure that my model actually matches the shape. So for this particular mouse here, there is this very unique curvature that goes down like that. So we will try to move our vertices until it matches the overall shape first. Okay. Grab these two and then just push it in. This group, I think we can push it all the way here. Just spread it out so that it can maintain the shape. Alright, for our front view, I think generally this looks okay. Let's go to the top view and see. Alright, so the back here, right, we need to pull it back a little bit. And then these are the bottom vertices, and then to verify, right, just make sure that we are only selecting the bottom vertices. We want this bottom vertices to slide out a little bit. Okay, let's just check. Okay, let me just switch all of this back to uncheck the X-ray view, because right now we are having our own X-ray view already. Alright, so this is a side view, so it seems like over here I will need to move these vertices to the back so that they will follow the curvature here. And then this one, just move it back up a bit. And these top vertices over here, I'll probably have to shift them back like that. Alright, so sometimes you have to temporarily go over to the material attributes and then just turn the object back to solid again. And I think I pushed some of my vertices to overlap, because these vertices in level 1, right, they are actually quite tight together. So when they overlap like this, they will tend to become, they form this very hard edge like that. So I'll need to select these vertices out and push them out as well. So these group of vertices here, this one and these two. Alright, then very carefully push them out so that we don't have this hard edge look like that. And then we're going to go over to our top view and just make sure that all these vertices are following the shape that we want. And I think if I look at the side, there's a taper up over here, so I'll just need to select the side view here, and then just pull it out slightly, and which I think is already done that. Okay, so now let's take a look over here. So this area here actually stretches out quite a bit, but we do not have any, we do not have enough subdivisions, right, to create this very extreme curve over here. So we need to insert a couple of edge loops over here to make a stronger edge so that we can pull out this curve over here. Alright, so I will need to go over to my material attributes and make it transparent here. Okay, and we are going to insert one edge loop right about here, maybe right about here. Right, and then one more here. Right, and then grab the vertex here and just pull it out until it matches the curvature here. And because we have this extra geometry, we can actually pull and stretch until it matches the shape. So there's a weird topology over here that I will need to fix. Okay, so I will probably recut this. Okay, this star over here, right, is causing a very weird, instead of this nice curved shape over here, I'm getting this very, very nasty looking edge over here. So I'm going to try to delete away the edge loop here so that this one looks smoother. So let's go and take a look at this in perspective view, and you will see that I can actually just reshape this by removing some edge loops. So go over here, double click and select this edge loop, press Ctrl Delete to remove this, and this one as well, Ctrl Delete. Okay, the reason why you need to press Ctrl Delete is so that you will delete away the vertices as well. Let me just undo and demonstrate. If you press Delete, just press Delete the edge loop, you will still end up with vertices, right, floating on the edge. That's not what you want. So every time you want to clear or dissolve an edge loop, alright, you double click to select the edge loop like this, and then you press Ctrl and Delete. So after some cleanup, we should have a nicer topology over here. And what we can do, you can spread out this 2 over here so that it doesn't make this very extreme corner over here. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab these and I'm going to use the slide tool, Control Shift slide tool, and then slide it back. Okay, the sliding is not working for me. Maybe I will use the edge instead. I'll select these edges, 1, 2, 3, and then hold on to W to move, then shift my mouse click and then use a slide edge 2, and then the mouse click and slide this back. Okay, maybe this one, I'll need to slide this one back as well. Alright, so you can see that we are spreading it out. And let me take a look at it at level 1. So, okay, so we see the issue here. This vertex here needs to be slid back. So sometimes you need to just go to level 1 and do it at level 1. Holding down Control Shift and then slide this back. Okay, let's fix this topology here. The bottom topology, since nobody is going to see this, we can actually, later we can actually delete away the bottom here. Okay, let's take a look at it now. Okay, much better, much smoother now. Right now, let's take a look at the top view and let's change the transparency. Again, let's go through the. Okay, I lost my color. Make this color and then make this transparent. And right now, let's just need to move this vertex here and then move this one over here. Shift this over here. So eventually, right, we will need to apply a smooth operation to this because right now we're just blocking out the shape. So once we apply a smooth operation to this object, right, then we will end up with a lot of geometry, and then from then onwards, right, we will be able to cut away things like this seam over here. So that is like the fine tuning for this mouse over here. So I'm just trying to get it to match the shape as closely as possible. This one will go over here, and this one And you can see that now my mouse, right, after moving all the vertices, is matching the shape pretty well. Maybe my front view might not match that well. Let me switch over to the front view and check. Generally it is okay, except for this depression over here. So if I want to have a depression over that section here, that means I'll have to insert one more edge loop right about here. So I want an edge loop that runs continuously around, so maybe I'll just add one. Okay, let me go to level 1 and see how tight this is. Okay, maybe that means I'll do one edge loop here. Right? Let's go back to subdivided mode. Now that I got this extra edge loop, I should be able to push this section inwards to form this depression over here. Alright, so now I got this extra supporting edge loop. Now I can grab these vertices over here in the front view and then push it in like that. Okay, very good. And this one can come down a little bit more. And also you notice that this area here also curved inwards like that. It's got this very nice gentle curve. So that means I need to add one edge loop right at the center over here. So let's come over here and then just middle mouse click and add one edge loop. And let's go to the front view and grab these two vertices and we can push it inwards like that. Okay, and I'm not sure whether I want to follow this one because, like I mentioned earlier at the beginning, right, this part here, we are actually looking at this angle. We are looking it down at this angle here. Okay, but maybe I will grab this vertex over here, these two vertices over here, pull it up here like that, and then this one, just push it inwards like this. Yeah, okay, I think that will work. Right, so you can see, let's go over to solid view. You can see that we are pretty close to where we are, but we need to move some edge loops around because you can see a very tight corner here. So we need to smooth out this area. Let's go to level 1 and see how bad it is. So you can see here when we have two edges that are very, very tight and close to each other, and if you go to number 3, you end up with this pinch over here. So we need to go and spread out these vertices. So use the slide tool, Control Shift, and then slide this out and push this out. Right now, the number of vertices that we have over here is still relatively low, so we can do things like this. Okay, this corner here is very, very tight, so I'll have to move these back a little bit. Okay. And do that. I think I pressed the wrong key. I actually wanted to slide. I want to press the caps lock. Slide these back. Okay, not this one, just these two on the outside here. You just grab this one and this one and then slide it back here. I think this one can come down and slide it back. Holding down Control Shift and left mouse click on it, then Control Shift and then just left mouse click and drag to move it. Okay, so far so good. Let me just press number 3 and then see what it looks like. Alright, so now this is nice and all, but we will know that for this edge over here, we need to have another hard edge loop that runs across here. So I'll have to insert one more edge loop right close to here. Let me go to level 1 and see. Okay, I need to put it as close as possible so that we have this hard edge on over here. Alright, so now here, because of the extra edge loop that I applied over here, now my side view will look off. Okay, so I'll have to go and adjust it again. Okay, I'll have to just temporarily use the X-ray view. this spread out, right, we should be able to get the restore the shape very well. Okay, everything looks good so far. Let's go and take a look. And I have made a major mistake. I have not even saved this yet. So let me just increment and save this. Okay, so we can see a tight pinch over here. That means there's an edge loop that runs across here very tightly, or push too far. So I'm going to push this out a bit. Maybe to okay, slightly better now. Okay, let's go to the top view. And just do a wrong key presses again. Control and Shift. Okay, sliding the vertex is better than moving because you want to maintain the shape, so that's why I'm using the slide. So hold on Control and Shift and slide this. Okay. Alright, so we got the basic shape out here, but now we have this very interesting heart shape that comes over here. And I think for this particular shape here, if we were to insert more edge loops to sculpt this out, right, it's going to be quite challenging. So what I'll probably do is that at this stage I can start to break this into panels, pieces, and then we will focus individually on each part. Okay, so and I think generally the shape looks pretty close to the target object, so I'm gonna just save it one more time, delete away the history, and okay, and let's delete away the history, edit, and let's give it a name. So this will be the body. Alright. So we study the mouse. Let's take a look at the picture again. If you look at the mouse carefully, right, you'll notice that it's made up of different parts. Okay, we have one main piece, the main body at the bottom. Okay, and then you can see there's a seam over here. That means there's a shell over at the side here. Like this. You can see a line that runs from here all the way to here. And also you can see another line that runs from here as well. A very, very faint line over here. I don't have the physical mouse with me, but yeah, you can see over here there's a very obvious seam that runs all the way across like that. So what I'm planning to do is that I'm going to try to separate this portion, okay, from the rest of the mouse, and then also the top portion. And yeah, basically just create two separate shells. So this will make it easier for me to add more edge loops and refine this. Because if you keep everything as a single piece like what I have right now, it's going to become very difficult for you to sculpt the mouse, because every time you add an edge loop, the edge loop will run all over the mouse, and then it will just become much harder to manage, right? So before I do that, let me just refine the shape a little bit. So I don't have another view from the other side. So this one you have to use your own judgment, and especially if you have limited references. Okay, so this one over here, just move it all like that. Can you go to that one and see what it looks like? This one. View again. Okay, there's actually a very gentle curve that comes down like that, so maybe I'll refine that in the front view. So it's mostly these vertices right at the edge here. So just pull this down. So we'll do this one as well. Yeah, so you see, as you get more vertices, right, it become more faces for you to deal with. And I think this, again, I need to put the front view image. I have to go to material attributes one more time. Just make it transparent. Then you can see that this part here goes up at an angle like that. So I will have to be very careful so that sometimes you can use face. So all the corners here, and pull this outwards like that so that it forms this nice. Okay, I think there's one more face I forgot to slide the bottom here, this one. So I need this to go up like that. Yeah. So there's the shape I wanted to get. Okay, so I think I don't want to make this video too long, so I will now start to separate the shape. So let me do another save, and I'm going to select the faces that form the top part of this panel here, and then separate it. Let's go to level 1. So let's go back to this one here, put this one here. Okay, so I will select this face, hold down the shift and double click, and so that I know where's the boundary of the face. So let's check the picture here. This one goes all the way around, and then it goes around here. So let's see, I do not want to select this one, not this one, not this one. Select all the faces here. Here you can hold on tab, and then you can start to hold on tab and then start to paint select faces. It's on top like that. So this one you have to be very careful, make sure that you select the faces that you want to detach. And this one over here. Okay, I'll just consider this as my top section here, then I'll detach this from the rest of the mouse body. Okay, so shift right mouse click, and then we use the extract faces. So this should separate it into two components, the top and the bottom. So I'll call this the top panel. And then the base here, this one is the base. Alright, so now we can maybe add, I want to see what happens if I add one level of smoothness. So select this mesh, you can go to mesh and then apply a smooth to subdivide it. So you can see once you add one level of smooth, right, you increase the number of faces. But this will increase the complexity to edit this, but at the same time it will give you more faces, right, to work with. For example, you can see that for this ErgoMouse, right, there is this hole over here. So we can actually select this hole, and then we can now apply circularize to it. And then we can delete this. So if we subdivide this right now by pressing number 3, you can see that we have a nice hole over here. And I can temporarily create a sphere to act as my the ball for the mouse. So let's go over the front view and then just make sure that the scale of this ball is correct. Just increase this and just put it inside there. Alright, perfect. Now in order to have that gap that you see over here between the mouse and the ball, I'm going to select this shape here. I'm going to isolate it first and go edge mode, select this edge here and then extrude inwards. One section and then repeat extrusion again. And then we will move the section inside here. Let's go to the front view and then we want to move the vertices inwards so that it has this nice curved look, just like the real mouse. Right. Alright, so I can get out of the isolate select now. So for this top part here, I'm going to do the same thing as well. I'm going to apply a smooth operation mesh and smooth this. So this will give me plenty of faces to work out where is the buttons. Alright, so I can now temporarily hide this base. Then I can focus on this shape over here. Alright, so you can see here, we got plenty of faces that we can move to start to form the buttons. So again, we use the sliding tools because we want to maintain the shape. Control Shift and slide. Grab all these and slide them there. Slide, make sure this is a straight line. Yeah, I mean, on hindsight, this one should come over here. Yeah. And this one can slide it here. So this one, I'm taking a look at this and I think I need to perhaps have to really slide all these vertices back here. This one is going to be a challenge. Yeah, basically I'm sliding the vertices while trying to maintain the original shape. So we're going to have a lot of vertices bunched up in this area. Later we still need to tweak all of this. Yeah, okay. Alright, so this is just to make it easier for me to separate this section here. And then if I need to, I can put in another extra edge over there. Alright, so from here, let's take a look at it in solid mode first. And generally we still have a shape, so now at least we have enough geometry right, to cut out the buttons over here. So this is in subdivided mode. Okay, I made a mistake just now. I should slide like this. Slide this back here. All these slide it to here. tool size subdivided. Actually, let me just undo that. At level 1, everything is fine, so we'll keep it at level 1 first. So right now, I'm going to select these faces and separate them as the mouse button here. Because we did a lot of subdivision, that means we have to go over to the front here and select these faces as well. So use the tab key to take select. Okay, and then detach. Extract the faces, shift right mouse to extract, and then these will be the buttons. So we're going to rename this to the buttons and the rest of the body. So for the buttons, right, we can now add another edge over here. And then there's definitely a hole here. In fact, 2 holes that goes beyond here. So I'm going to use a knife tool. From here to here. Should I cut here? I can cut here. Everything is 4-sided now, so I can press number 3. Except for these 2 over here, I think for me, number 1. Actually, on hindsight, this should be cut all the way here. Delete this. Delete this. Control delete, and everything should be 4-sided. And we will just move this in place. Okay, definitely need is a couple more cubes here. Okay, since this one runs across here just nicely, that's good. So I can select these faces, not this one, and delete them. Okay, I think this one should be separated. Let's go to level 1 and see how I can separate this. I'm going to do that. Okay, so now all these faces we can delete. Right, so we don't worry about the gap yet, so this one we can push it back. to here. Same for this one. And we can push this back close under the gap here. Right, so right, so now the buttons are pretty much done. Then we can put a just block and put some cylinder over here for the roller. So let's create a cylinder. So this is just will be a standing for the roller mouse. And we put one over here. Not it. No, should come out like that. I think the diameter needs to be bigger. Right, I'm going to select the corners here. Select the corner edges here and then give it a bevel, give it a couple of segments. Again, this is just a temporary model. Okay, for the roller mouse. But so you can see that gradually, right, because once you have more and more of these subdivisions, you will have to go and cut and then reflow the topology in order to get the shape that you want. So let me just unhide the other parts. Let's go to display and show all. And you can see pretty much from one section the mouse is almost there. Okay, of course there are several other sections that we need to model properly. But that's the general idea, just to get this to get a shape out like that. So you just have to spend a lot of time to continue to do the tweaking. Okay, we can use, for example, this area here right now because we changed the topology slightly. You can use things like the soft selection tool, right, to edit so that you affect other regions. Because right now the number of subdivisions has increased. So sometimes it will be necessary because of the we increase so many subdivisions, right? If you don't need the additional edge loops, for example, this one over here, this edge loop that runs here, that forms a very tight corner. Like this one is redundant. You can actually dissolve it, delete it away by pressing Ctrl Delete, and it should maintain the shape. In fact, I think you can still remove one more over here, Ctrl Delete, and you can still see that it maintains the shape. So you have to use your own judgment to see which area requires the detail and which area does not. Alright, so now all the pieces are in subdivided view, and our mouse is pretty much around 70%. Okay, 65 to 70%. So the rest is just gradually cutting out the holes, okay, cutting holes right for the rest of the mouse buttons, and then pushing and refining the surface so that we don't have pinches like this. Like for example, this area here, because instead of sliding the buttons earlier on, I was like moving them rather than sliding them. So we have to go over to each of these areas and slowly fix them until you get the shape that you want. Alright, so I'll stop the video to this date and I'll see whether I can continue to finish the rest, okay, of the parts for this mouse. But yeah, generally that is how I'll approach for modeling this type of for this subject. Okay, so I'm actually seeing this this extra edge loop here is, I don't really need this one here, I think. And press Ctrl Delete, and it still looks fine. And I've got one more here that I don't think I need this. Ctrl Delete. Likewise for this one. Maybe this one over here. Let's delete this. Yeah. Okay, good. And we will save one copy. File, save, increment, and save.